Madam Chair, thank you for having this hearing, and Ranking Member, I can't well, the rest of the members of the Senate. I don't feel too comfortable in the Senate side. I need a flashlight most of the time because sometimes it's pretty dark over here. I am one of the few people, there's only one left in the Congress that went through this battle 45 years ago, actually 42 years ago. And this 1002 area, I have to go through the history of it, was created by Senator Jackson and Senator Magnuson and Senator Stevens when the senators were really knowledgeable about what goes on. We recognized this area at that time about the value of oil and why we had the 1002 area. As you mentioned, I believe the ANWR is about 19 million acres of land. 1002 footprint will probably be, I can't really tell you what size it is, but I represent Alaska. You see anything different on my nose right now? This is Alaska. I am Alaska. 1/10 of percent. We're talking about disturbance. The map that the ranking member showed was actually drawn up by the Sierra Club. That bothers me. That's old information. This little dot on my nose, I weigh 225 pounds. This little dot is what we're talking about in the 1002 area. That's a potential of probably around, early estimates were 10 billion barrels. Now the estimates are probably around 20 billion barrels of oil. And Senator Sullivan brought it up. This is an issue of national security. National security. It is the one weapon Russia is wielding. We could have this security for the nation as a whole. And I was interested to hear about the caribou. You're going to hear a lot of nonsense stories later on in the day. I'm interested in Canada. The ambassadors sent out a letter about opposing ANWR. Did we say anything when they drilled 270 wells right in the area for the caribou? 270 wells were drilled in this caribou herds area, where they cross every year. They built a 400-mile road right across the calving area, too. Did we say anything then? This is not about, it's not about the environment or the caribou, it's about economics. I'm ashamed of Canada right now because they're wheeling an emotional issue that most people don't know what they're talking about, nor been there, nor seen it, nor understand the caribou herd. That's the thing that bothers me probably the most of all about the legislative process. What used to be, as I mentioned, Warren Magnuson, Senator Jackson, worked together when the states were affected. We didn't get involved in the shipyards in certain members' districts about how they were mismanufactured a ship. We didn't do that. But we have people going and saying this is a great environmental area. Maybe I'll find how many of you have gone up there as a Senate side. But let's think about national security. And I get run every 2 years. I'm not one of you guys, every 6 years. And I've supported this and fought for it 13 times. 13 times I've moved it out of the House and it's died on the Senate side, but once. And President Clinton vetoed it because he said it wouldn't relieve the embargo we had that quickly. Now think about that a moment. If we are to be energy sufficient to control the international instances that can be faced, we need ANWR. The Congress recognized it when we passed the Alaska National Lands Act. Scoop Jackson, Warren Magnuson, Mo Udo, John Cyberly, all agreed to this provision because they knew the value of that oil and the value to this nation. And now we're fighting the same battle again because of the ignorance and misinformation from those that would not have any resources development at all, not only in Alaska. We're easy to pick on because of the three-person delegation, but the nation as a whole, to make us less strong, to make us a second-rate nation. That's what a lot of you wish to do. As a House member, I'm going to pass this again, and I hope you have the courage to do what's right for this nation. What's good for Alaska, what's good for the nation, and good for all the people in the future. Madam Chairman, I do thank you for having this hearing. And I will remember and remind you, look at that little blue dot on my nose. That is the 1002 area. I don't think it changed my appearance very much, because the coastal plain is not that pristine area you see in the propaganda as portrayed by all the environmental groups. It's a flat terrain that in fact was set aside by this Congress and the Washington senators for the development, not the preservation. I yield.